Beautiful morning. Absolutely beautiful. So I got myself a girlfriend, Christine Redmond. My daughter set me up with her. I met her by teaching her how to stern paddle a canoe. And my daughter and I were out in our lake in Chemong showing her, and then a storm hit, so we went back inside, had a cup of tea, and yeah, she left. A good conversation, and my daughter goes, "You should ask her out, Dad." I went, I don't know, I'm not sure if I want to date, I don't know. And she said, yeah, it's about time, Dad, it's about time. So I said, well, what do you think? And she said, well, I really like her. I said, why? Well, she's quite normal. What do you mean? She said, well, Dad, you don't know a lot of normal people. Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Kyla. Hi, Christine. Well, I'm halfway through the last reservation on the river. It's the Delaware Nation. Small bit of land on the left. Lots of history here. Lots of history in the whole entire river, but this section, big time.
I think about the river and how it's changed, and how back in the day our houses used to face the river. None of our houses face the river anymore. You can see the mission. This right here is the missionary's house. We're actually called Moravian Town because we settled here in 1792, and we came with the Moravian missions up from Mount Pleasant, Ohio, that way, and we're actually from Pennsylvania and New York and New Jersey. That's where our tribe is from. But we followed those missionaries all the way across here, and that's that missionary home. You can see it faces the river, and none of the other houses on the reserve face the river. So it was key to us at one time. We have an organization. It's called MeSing, and it's a grassroots environmental organization, and I sit on there as the chair, and it's a volunteer board, and we have a partnership with quite a few of the environmental organizations around here. We work with Thames Valley Conservation Authority just recently. We have one of their members sit on our board, and they send somebody to our board regularly. And we've been trying to reconnect our community to the river, not just to the river, to the land for that matter. Trying to revitalize our cultural teachings. We're like I said, we're with the Moravian missions here, and we lost a lot of our teachings. And in order to live in our community, you couldn't practice any ceremonies or anything like that at one time. So we're trying to, there's a big movement to try and revitalize our culture and bring our language back. We're building what we're calling an eco barge, and we're going to pull that with a boat. We have 15 youth that are going to canoe up, and we're going to try and clean up the river all the way up to our reserve here, pick up as much garbage as we can, and throw it on that barge and get it here. But we're also going to have teachers that are going to try and talk about the relationship of the river, like I said, reconnecting our families, and get these youth to start identifying the plants and see the ecosystems and the habitat. And should come back and canoe on that. That would be a good thing for you to do. Meet some of our kids, and maybe you can teach our kids something. Probably most of them have never even been in a canoe before. So.
So I am camped in one of those parking places I used to use as a teenager. One of those rest stops along the road here. Yeah, let the adventure continue. It's the Thames River in southern Ontario. I didn't expect anything more than camping wherever I could find a spot. And this is the spot. Awesome! So there's two important things that I found out while going for a walk after setting up camp. First of all, this is not just a pullover area for sleepy drivers. It is the falling place of Chief Tecumseh.
Tecumseh was killed in, I think it was October 3rd of 1813. Tecumseh, what his point was, he was trying to basically gather all the native tribes together to fight the Americans. The Americans were going to basically try to move westward into their territory, and the only way he figured they could fight was as one unit, one solid unit. He was the last hope, and he sided with the British because he figured the British are my only chance of getting rid of the Americans' incursion into their territory. And so he was basically the last hope for the natives, you know, basically a unity of connecting as one nation to fight the Americans. And of course, when he was killed in October of 1813, that kind of ended that, and the Americans now were free to go into the native territory in the Michigan and Ohio and all those areas and take over.
I think if it wasn't for people like him, Canada would be a little bit different. Big witch. Oh, and the other thing, I also found there's a Johnny on the spot here. Not as important as this, obviously, but yeah, gonna use that while I'm here as well. Awesome! I'm having curry tonight because I'm having it with couscous, and couscous doesn't take a lot of water to cook up. I'm so used to traveling the north where there's lots of water, lots of firewood, lots of space. Put your tent. Not knocking this trip at all, just I'm not used to it. Which is maybe why it's a little bit of an adventure. Alright, so curry. This is dehydrated curry I made at home. Put it in a dehydrator. You can put it in the oven if you want, low temperature, overnight. Just the curry sauce on a pie sheet, cookie sheet, and then in the morning you peel it off like fruit leather. Then I reconstitute it, and it turns into curry sauce. So I'm gonna cook this up, cook up the couscous, crush some cashews on it, and it's gonna be awesome. Delicious and nutritious. Yeah, this is interesting. When you camp at a pullover area monument place along the major road, you're going to have visitors. I wish I can get all of them on film. All of them said, no, I don't want to be in film. I had dog walkers come by and tell me all about their life in the Thames and how the Thames is all part of their town and how it connects the town. And then had another guy that actually released a squirrel from his house here. Oh, and someone else is coming up. This is a busy place. That was a young couple. They just came here to do something other than releasing squirrels and walking a dog. Nope, they just changed their mind. Oh, youngins these days. I'm telling you, we never did that when we were growing up. It's a good night. Good times. Thames River.